There comes a moment when you stand at the edge of giving up. But what if I told you? That's when it's actually the closest. You look around and see nothing, no change, no movement. But listen to me. Your outer world is the last to know. It is the shadow of your inner assumption. And that assumption, that silent knowing within you, is already at work. If you felt peace lately, not because you got what you wanted, but because you stopped chasing, that's a sign. That peace isn't apathy, it's alignment. It means you've claimed it in consciousness. If life seems chaotic, if you've been tested more than usual, it's not because things are going wrong. The old must break apart to make room for the new. That shaking, it's a birthing. Stay calm. Don't quit. You've started to notice patterns, numbers, names, places that relate to your desire. You brush them off as coincidence, but they are whispers, echoes of a state already claimed, evidence that you are seen and it is done. Don't quit. You don't feel obsessed anymore, do you? That urge to check, to beg, to force, it's fading. That detachment, it means you entered the wish fulfilled. You live there now, and you didn't even realize it. Don't quit. Your imagination has grown rich. You feel it. You see it. When you close your eyes, you live the life you ask for, and it feels more real than your waking world. That is no dream. That is creation. Don't quit. People around you are acting different. Circumstances shift without your input. Doors crack open without you knocking. Why? Because consciousness moved first, and now the world is catching up. So, when your heart says it's already done, when the world says it's not working, choose your heart. The seed has been planted, the soil is dark, yes, but life is stirring. Hold your ground, don't quit, because it's already yours. There comes a moment in the journey of desire where something profound and almost unexplainable begins to occur. At first, we are filled with longing. We pray, we visualize, we hope, and sometimes we beg. The desire seems far, as though it lives in a future we must chase. We become anxious, watching every minute detail, hoping to see a change. Every silence feels loud. Every delay feels like a denial. We begin to question. Is it working? Is anyone listening? Am I doing it right? But then, without warning, a shift takes place. Not in the world, but within you. Suddenly, you're no longer desperate. You are no longer checking, analyzing, or worrying. The urgency fades. You aren't begging for a sign or proof, because something deeper has awakened. This peace, this sacred stillness, it is not indifference. It is not surrender to failure. It is alignment. You have stepped into a state where your inner world already feels the desire fulfilled. The imagination has replaced effort. The knowing has silenced the noise. This peace is the most powerful sign that your manifestation is in motion. You begin to walk differently. You speak as though it has already happened, not to convince others, but because you simply believe. There's no need to shout, no need to prove. You no longer need evidence, because the feeling is your evidence, and the feeling is real. It's so real that even when nothing has shifted externally, you feel satisfied internally. That is when creation has occurred. Your consciousness no longer lives in the not yet. You don't crave the future anymore because the future is now alive in you. You start to enjoy the present moment again. You drink your coffee with a calm heart. You go to sleep without rehearsing fears. You wake up with no dread. Why? Because in your mind the result is settled. It is already done. You have assumed the state of the one who has it, This peace is not passive, it is creative. It is the stillness that speaks louder than all your trying. And that is the secret. The universe responds not to words or effort, but to the vibration of being. When you move from wanting to being, from hoping to knowing, everything must respond. The world outside is only a mirror. It cannot help but reflect the peace you now carry. And that is why desperation vanishes. You're no longer grasping because you are no longer lacking. You may still be waiting in the physical sense, but in the realm of consciousness where all things are born, it is finished. You don't need to see it. You feel it. And that feeling is the only true reality. So when you notice this quietness, do not question it. Do not mistake it for giving up. It is not the end of your desire. It is the beginning of its arrival. It is the sign that your inner world has become so aligned with your wish, so deeply rooted in belief, that the need to push has dissolved. In this stillness, creation is complete. Let that peace guide you. It means your manifestation is already yours. When you plant a new belief, a new assumption, or a new state of being in your consciousness, something subtle but powerful begins to unfold. Most expect instant beauty, effortless flow, and immediate results. But instead, what often appears is the opposite: confusion, setbacks, emotional friction, even chaos. This is the point where many give up. They think it means the manifestation isn't working. But the truth is more profound. The turbulence you face is not a sign of failure. It is the echo of the old reality crumbling. You see, the moment you assume a new state, the state where your desire is fulfilled, your inner world has already shifted. But the outer world, being slower and denser, takes time to catch up. The old assumptions, the former beliefs, the outdated energies you once lived in, they don't disappear quietly. They push back, they resist. Not because they're winning, but because they're losing their hold on you. That chaos is not destruction, it is purification. Delays do not mean no. They are often divine pauses, moments where the unseen forces rearrange people, places, and events to match your new inner world. What you call a delay is really a refinement. It's not punishment, it's preparation. Your new state is so true, so dominant within you, that the old one must be stripped away. And that stripping, that shedding, often feels like everything is going wrong when, in fact, everything is being made right. Sometimes the people around you begin to act out. Things break down. You feel emotional waves you thought you'd already released. These are the remnants of your former identity, reaching out one last time, asking if you'll return. Will you go back to fear? Will you agree with lack? Or will you hold firm in your assumption of abundance, love, peace? You must understand this. Emotional triggers and external resistance do not come to stop you. They come to test your stability in the new state. They appear not to defeat you, but to reveal what still needs to be released. It is not evidence of your failure. It is the final resistance of a version of you that no longer belongs here. The old story is being uprooted. It doesn't like to leave quietly. It will scream. It will beg for your attention. It will try to lure you back into doubt. But you must remember, you are not that version anymore. You are the one who lives in the fulfilled end. You are not the one waiting. You are the one being. When the world shakes, be still. When the past rises, bless it and let it go. When things seem delayed, trust deeper. Every crack in your old reality is proof that the new one is emerging. The noise you hear is not a warning. It is the sound of transformation. So do not be discouraged when things fall apart. They are not falling apart, they are falling into place. This is the cost of claiming a higher state. This is the cleansing before the blessing. Stand firm. What feels like resistance is often the final confirmation that your new reality is already on its way. When your inner world shifts, when you begin to truly dwell in the state of your fulfilled desire, the outer world starts to mirror that change in subtle, mysterious ways. These reflections are not always loud or obvious. Instead, they arrive like whispers, gentle signs that something is aligning beneath the surface. You start to see repeating numbers like 111, 222, or 777. A song plays with lyrics that speak directly to your heart. You overhear a stranger say the exact phrase you've been affirming in your mind. These are not coincidences, these are synchronicities. And they are not random. Synchronicities are the footprints of consciousness at work. They are signals from the unseen showing you that your inner assumptions are beginning to crystallize into form. Every time you witness one, you are glimpsing a reflection of your shifted state. Not the state you wish to enter, but the one you are already occupying. The universe does not send confirmation for the unclaimed. It echoes what you are, not what you beg for. So when these unusual signs begin to show up, pay attention. They are not meant to convince you of something outside yourself. They are meant to remind you that what you assume to be true internally is now projecting itself externally. You are in the flow. The bridge of incidents has been activated, and your only task now is to remain faithful to that inner state. You might find yourself thinking about someone and they call you. You write down your desire, and a day later you see an advertisement or message with the exact words you wrote. These moments are not just interesting, they are spiritual confirmations. They are a language beyond logic, a dialogue between you and the infinite. This is not about superstition. This is about resonance. Your imagination, when used with conviction and feeling, impresses itself upon the field of reality. And reality, like a perfect mirror, begins to respond. Not always instantly, but certainly. These synchronicities are like the first leaves of spring. They don't show the full bloom, but they prove that the season has changed. When you begin to live from the end, when you think, feel, and imagine as the person who already has what they desire, you change your vibration, and as you do, the world around you adjusts. It may not bend overnight, but it will whisper to you, yes, you are on the path, keep going. Resist the urge to dismiss these signs as coincidences. They are not. The very fact that you notice them is proof of your awareness expanding. You are no longer living blindly. You are awake to the hidden conversation between the seen and unseen. That awareness is the birthplace of creation. So the next time you see a sign, a repeating number, a name, a symbol, or a moment that seems too perfect to be random, pause, smile. You're not crazy. You're not imagining it. You're witnessing the outer world responding to your new inner reality. Stay in that knowing. Let it strengthen your faith. Because synchronicities are not a tease. They are the fingerprints of your manifestation, already reaching out to meet you. There is a point along the path of conscious creation where the noise falls away. You no longer wake up with a sense of urgency or go to bed with racing thoughts. The constant need to monitor, to check, to force things into place quietly fades. You're no longer trying to convince yourself that it's working, because now you simply know. You've stepped into a space that feels weightless, yet powerful. This state is not filled with emotion highs or obsessive energy. It is quiet, still, clear. This is the essence of true detachment. But don't mistake this detachment for disinterest. You haven't stopped caring about the desire. You've simply released the resistance around it. You're no longer in the state of wanting, you are in the state of having. This inner shift creates a sense of peace that cannot be shaken by appearances. You are no longer measuring time, You are no longer pleading with the unseen. You've entered the full-fed end, and now you rest in that knowing. It is a profound moment when the obsession ends and certainty begins. The desire no longer consumes your thoughts every hour, not because you gave up, but because you feel it is done. You are no longer distracted by how it will come or when it will show up. You've stopped scripting every detail, not because it doesn't matter, but because the outcome feels inevitable. That calm clarity is not laziness, it's mastery. This kind of detachment is magnetic. When you hold the end within your being, not with tension but with ease, life rearranges to reflect it. It must. The world around you is a mirror, and it always bends to the vibration you carry. When you vibrate with obsession, fear, and constant need, the mirror reflects more of that. But when you vibrate with trust, ease, and clear knowing, the mirror reveals a new version of reality, one that matches your inner state of assurance. You see, real faith is not loud. It doesn't require constant affirmations or signs. It doesn't need to be reassured. It simply is. You feel a quiet sense of alignment, as though the path ahead is already laid out, even if you can't see all the steps. You walk with less fear and more presence. You talk less about what you're trying to manifest and more about the life you're already living in your mind and spirit. This clarity makes you powerful. You're not chasing anything. You're not waiting. You're living in a new identity. The version of you who already has what was once only imagined. And in this identity, there's no pressure. There's no striving. There's only alignment. So when you find yourself feeling clear, calm, and no longer obsessed, honor that moment. You've stepped beyond desire and into fulfillment. You've crossed the invisible line where the wish has moved from hope to reality, from longing to being. It is in this detachment that the manifestation ripens. It is in this clarity that the unseen becomes seen. And it is in this stillness that you realize you were never waiting. You already are. There is a beautiful transformation that occurs when you begin to truly live in the end, not through force or repetition, but through natural identification with your desire. At first, imagination might feel like daydreaming, like a gentle hope floating in the background. But something changes when you persist in the inner work. Something sacred begins to awaken. The scenes you create in your mind become richer, deeper, more emotionally charged. You don't just see the outcome, you feel it, live it, breathe it. And soon, what you imagine starts to feel more real than your current life. This is no ordinary fantasy. It's not escapism, it is creation at its purest level. What you call imagination is the true source of reality. The world you now live in was once imagined, consciously or unconsciously. And so when the imagined experience becomes more compelling, more vivid, and more alive than the so-called physical facts around you, it means something vital has shifted. Your consciousness has moved. You no longer feel the need to react to the outer world because your inner world is more satisfying. You may walk through a reality that appears unchanged, but within, you're touching something far greater. You can feel the joy of having what you once longed for. You smile at moments no one else understands, because you've seen something they haven't. You've already lived the result, and in doing so, you've summoned it into form. This experience is not just emotional, it's spiritual. You sit with your eyes closed and enter the scene of your wish fulfilled. You don't merely visualize the outcome, you become the one who has it. You walk into a room and feel the presence of what you imagined. You hear voices congratulating you. You smell the space, you touch the fabric. You experience details that have no physical source. And yet they feel absolutely real. More real than the doubts. more real than the delay, more real than anything your five senses are currently reporting. And here is the mystery. When the inner world becomes more dominant than the outer begins to transform. Not by force, not through hustle, but by divine reflection. The world is not fixed. It is a mirror. And when you saturate your consciousness with the feeling, tone, and certainty of your imagined life, the mirror must bend. That's why you must not dismiss these vivid moments as just imagination. They are not pretend. They are previews of what is forming. When your imagined scenes begin to carry weight, when you find yourself emotionally moved, even to tears, by something you've only lived in your mind, that is not delusion. That is evidence. You've created the cause. The effect will follow. So trust the depth of your inner experience. Don't look around for validation. Look within. That feeling of realness you experience in the invisible, that clarity, that emotional charge, it is telling you this is not a wish. This is a becoming. You are not waiting for it to happen. You are remembering it already did. And the more real it feels inside, the faster it must show up outside. Because imagination, when fully believed, is the blueprint of your reality. When you truly shift your inner state, when you no longer merely want your desire but begin to become the one who has it, something remarkable begins to unfold. And it happens often without effort, without action, and without warning. Suddenly, the world around you begins to move. People behave differently. Circumstances shift. What once felt stuck and immovable begins to loosen. Things start to rearrange themselves to accommodate your new assumption. And yet, you did not force any of it. It moved because you did internally. This is one of the most beautiful confirmations that your manifestation is underway. The outer world, which once seemed cold, fixed, and unchanging, begins to bend. Opportunities that once seemed distant or impossible begin to present themselves naturally. A person who had cut you off reappears. A job you didn't apply for suddenly becomes available. A financial breakthrough shows up in a way you never could have scripted. And all of this happens not because you struggled or chased it, but because you aligned your being with the end. Consciousness is always the cause. The outer world is never initiating anything, it only echoes. So when people change, or they apologize, return, or offer something you secretly desired, it's not because they decided to shift, it's because you did. You released the old state of lack, fear, or doubt and stepped into a version of yourself that lives in completion, and the outer world had no choice but to mirror that shift. This movement is often subtle at first. A conversation goes differently than expected. A door that was once shut is now cracked open. You overhear something that confirms your inner work. These are not accidents. They are ripples caused by your assumption becoming dominant. There's something profoundly freeing about this realization, that you don't have to manipulate, fix, or force the world into cooperation. You don't need to argue or prove your worth. When your inner world is clear, the outer world follows. This is not passivity, it is spiritual authority. It is stillness that commands movement. And the movement you witness around you is not random, it's strategic, intelligent, and perfectly timed. Sometimes, what begins to move is what once felt most stubborn. A situation that seemed hopeless suddenly finds a new pathway. A no turns into a yes. A delay becomes divine alignment. You realize in those moments that you were never truly waiting on the world was waiting on you, waiting for you to become certain, to stop doubting, to embody the end result so fully that no resistance could remain. The people, events, and outcomes that begin to shift around you are all messengers of this truth. Your state creates your fate. When you dwell in the end and persist there in imagination and feeling, the bridge of incidents begins to build itself. And you do not need to know how. You only need to remain faithful. So when the unexpected begins to happen, do not be surprised. Smile. You did this not with force, but with focus. Not by chasing, but by choosing to be. Reality is simply catching up with who you've become. And so, as you stand on the edge of your new reality, remember this: what you seek is already seeking you. The signs are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Inner peace, emotional triggers, vivid imagination, synchronicities, and the quiet detachment you feel, all of these are whispers from the unseen, telling you that your desire is not a far-off dream, but a reality unfolding moment by moment. Do not let the delay fool you. Do not let appearances shake you. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. You are right on time. Stay faithful to the unseen. Walk as if it's already done, because the truth is, it is. Your only job is to remain in the state of the fulfilled desire, no matter what the world around you shows. Everything is moving, everything is changing, everything is coming into alignment. You are not waiting anymore, you are becoming. Thank you for listening, and always remember, your inner world is the key. Guard it, nurture it, and trust it, because it's already yours. Close your eyes for a moment and forget where you are. Forget your current bank balance, your job, your debts. None of these matter, because they are simply reflections of past thoughts. Right now, we step into a new reality, one where you are already a millionaire. What does it feel like to have an endless flow of wealth, not to chase money, but to know it is always there? Imagine waking up in a home of your choosing with no concerns about bills, no hesitation before making a purchase, no fear of financial instability. You are free, the weight is gone, the air feels different. This is your new life. The greatest misconception about wealth is that it is something you attain, but true wealth is a state of mind and energy, a consciousness. Those who are rich in the world first became rich in their imagination. They felt wealthy before the physical evidence appeared. Let yourself step into that state. Let the sensation of financial ease settle in your body. Move with the quiet confidence of someone who knows abundance is their birthright. Do not ask how this will happen. Do not strain. Do not beg. Do not hope. Simply accept. The moment you assume the feeling of already being a millionaire, life must conform to that assumption. Live in that knowing. Act from that knowing. And soon you will look around and realize you were a millionaire long before the world acknowledged it. Wealth is not something you chase, it is something you become. The greatest secret to financial abundance is not in effort or strategy alone, but in the state of being you assume right now. Before money can flow into your life, you must first step into the consciousness of one who already possesses it. You must feel wealthy not in some distant future, but here, in this very moment. And strip away all external conditions. Forget your current bank balance, your income, your job, your debts. These are nothing more than reflections of past thoughts and beliefs. They do not define your present, nor do they dictate your future. Instead, turn inward and ask yourself, if I were already a millionaire, how would I feel? Feel the certainty that comes with financial abundance. Imagine waking up in the morning knowing that money is never a concern. There is no hesitation before making a purchase, no lingering anxiety over bills, no weight of lack pressing on your chest. There is only ease, freedom, and an unshakable confidence in the flow of wealth. This feeling is what you must claim, not as a fleeting daydream, but as a permanent state of being. The key is to embody this feeling so fully that it becomes second nature. You do not need to wait for external proof before adopting the mindset of a millionaire. Those who are truly wealthy did not wait for their bank accounts to confirm their worth. They carried themselves with the energy of abundance long before the world reflected it back to them. The physical world is nothing more than a mirror of your internal state. If you persist in feeling wealthy, the outer world has no choice but to reshape itself to match your assumption. Think about the difference between someone struggling financially and someone who moves through life with the quiet assurance of wealth. The struggling individual often carries tension in their body. Their movements are hesitant, their words reveal doubt, and their thoughts are filled with worry. On the other hand, a person who assumes the state of wealth moves differently. They stand tall, speak with certainty, and approach life with a relaxed confidence. Their energy is different. They do not grasp or beg. They expect wealth to flow because they already feel rich. Ask yourself, how would you behave if money were no longer an issue? Would you walk into a room with greater confidence? Would you make decisions with ease instead of hesitation? Would you feel a deeper sense of peace knowing that you are fully supported? Allow yourself to step into this version of you, not tomorrow, not next month, but now. The mind does not differentiate between reality and imagination. It only responds to the images and feelings you impress upon it. If you consistently dwell in the emotions of financial security, your subconscious will accept this as truth. And once your subconscious accepts something as truth, it must become your experience. This is not about pretending or forcing yourself to believe something you do not feel. It is about shifting your focus from what is lacking to what is already present in the unseen realm. Wealth is not something outside of you. It is something you align with. You do not need to struggle for it. You need only to assume the feeling of having it, and life will rearrange itself to match that assumption. One of the simplest ways to cultivate this feeling is to practice gratitude for the wealth that is already yours in unseen form. Each morning, wake up and give thanks as if you already possess everything you desire. Say to yourself, I am so grateful for the financial abundance that flows effortlessly into my life. Feel the sincerity of these words. Let them sink into your being. As you do this, you will notice a shift. Your energy will become lighter, your mind will feel clearer, and a deep sense of peace will replace any anxiety about money. Another powerful practice is to observe your thoughts throughout the day. When you catch yourself worrying about money or feeling lack, pause and shift your focus. Replace thoughts of scarcity with thoughts of abundance. Instead of saying, I can't afford this, say, wealth is flowing to me in unexpected ways. Instead of worrying about how money will come, trust that it is already on its way. This mental discipline is what separates those who struggle from those who thrive. You must also align your actions with the consciousness of wealth. This does not mean reckless spending or pretending to be something you are not. It means moving through life with the assurance that wealth is your natural state. It means carrying yourself with the quiet confidence of someone who knows they are supported by the unseen forces of abundance. As you persist in assuming the feeling of wealth, you will begin to notice changes in your external world. Opportunities will arise, unexpected sources of income will appear, and financial doors will open in ways you never could have predicted. But the key is to feel it first. The world does not give you wealth and then allow you to feel rich. It is the other way around. You become it internally, and then life reflects it back to you. This is the great secret. Assume the feeling of wealth now, not tomorrow, not when circumstances change, now. And as you do, you will come to realize that abundance was always within you, waiting for you to claim it. The greatest shift you can make in your journey to wealth is to move from seeking to being. The moment you stop chasing and start embodying the reality of financial freedom, everything begins to change. Wealth is not something you work tirelessly toward. It is something you claim by living in the end result now. Instead of wishing, hoping, or waiting for abundance, you must step into the consciousness of one who already has it. When you dwell in the end, you no longer operate from a place of lack. You do not see yourself as someone striving for wealth, trying to make more money, or struggling to achieve financial security. Instead, you see yourself as already financially free. You carry yourself with the quiet assurance of someone who knows they are supported by unlimited abundance. You act from the reality of wealth, not toward it. Imagine that you already have everything you desire. What does that look like? More importantly, what does it feel like? Picture your ideal life, not as something distant, but as something unfolding in this very moment. See yourself waking up in a home you love with the peace that comes from knowing your financial needs are met. There is no stress, no anxiety about bills, no fear of lack. You move through your day with ease, making choices not from necessity, but from desire. This feeling of financial freedom is what you must claim now, not when you have more money, not when your circumstances improve. Now, you must walk, talk, and think as if you are already wealthy. Because in doing so, you are aligning yourself with the reality where wealth is yours. Your external world can only reflect what you assume to be true internally. The mistake most people make is living in the process instead of the end. They constantly think about how they will become wealthy, what steps they need to take, what actions they should be doing. While action is necessary, it is secondary. What matters most is the state of mind you occupy. If you see yourself as someone trying to become wealthy, you are reinforcing the idea that you are not yet wealthy. And as long as you hold that belief, the physical world will continue to mirror that lack back to you. Bypass the process and dwell directly in the end. Imagine that it is already done. See your financial freedom as an undeniable reality. When you do this, something remarkable happens. Your mind begins to shift, and your actions follow suit. You no longer make choices from a place of limitation. You no longer doubt whether opportunities will come. You expect them. You no longer hope for money. You assume its presence. To dwell in the end means to remove all resistance. It means letting go of the mindset that wealth is something you need to earn or struggle for. It means stepping into the version of yourself who already has it. When you truly accept this as your reality, you will notice how your thoughts, emotions, and decisions begin to change. You will no longer engage in conversations about financial struggle. You will no longer react with fear when unexpected expenses arise. You will no longer hesitate to invest in yourself or your dreams. You will act in alignment with the wealth you already possess in consciousness. The subconscious mind does not differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. It simply accepts what you consistently impress upon it. If you persist in the assumption that you already have financial abundance, your subconscious will reorganize your reality to match that belief. The people you meet, the opportunities that come your way, and even your own intuition will begin to align with this state of being. This is why it is so important to hold the vision of wealth unwaveringly. No matter what your current circumstances look like, you must remain faithful to the reality you have chosen. Do not let temporary setbacks shake your belief. Do not allow external conditions to dictate your inner state. When doubts creep in, return to the feeling of already being wealthy. Reinforce it with visualization, affirmations, and unwavering confidence in the unseen forces working on your behalf. Many people spend their lives wishing for financial freedom but never truly believing in it. They set goals, make plans, and take action, but deep down they still see themselves as struggling, and so the struggle continues. But those who live in the end, those who claim wealth as already theirs, see a different reality. They attract success effortlessly. They find themselves in the right place at the right time. They take inspired actions that lead to unexpected windfalls. This is not luck, it is law. The law that governs reality is simple. You receive what you are, not what you want. If you are still in the state of wanting, you will continue to experience the wanting. If you step into the state of having, you will experience the having. Right now, make the choice to dwell in the end. See yourself not as someone on the path to wealth, but as someone who is already there. Feel the certainty, the confidence, the freedom that comes with knowing abundance is yours. The moment you do, life must respond in kind. Everything you see in your outer world is a reflection of the beliefs, emotions, and assumptions you hold within. The secret to wealth is not in tireless effort or endless struggle, but in the deep conviction that you are already abundant. Your subconscious mind does not operate on logic, nor does it question whether something is possible or impossible. It simply accepts and manifests whatever is impressed upon it with feeling and repetition. This is why you must first cultivate the feeling of wealth internally before you ever see it materialize in your external world. Most people believe that action alone creates wealth. They chase money, opportunities, and success with a desperate energy, thinking that if they just work hard enough, they will finally attain financial freedom. But this approach often leads to frustration, exhaustion, and disappointment. Why? Because they are trying to change the effect without first addressing the cause. The cause of all wealth, all success, and all prosperity is not found in the external world. It is rooted in the inner world of thought and belief. Consider the way a seed grows into a tree. You cannot force the tree to grow by pulling on its branches or demanding that it bear fruit before its time. Instead, you must plant the seed, nurture it, and trust that beneath the surface something is happening. The same principle applies to wealth. If you plant the seed of financial abundance in your subconscious mind, by assuming and feeling that you are already rich, then in due time your outer world must reflect that reality. But most people plant seeds of lack. They worry about money, fear not having enough, and constantly reinforce the idea that wealth is something out of reach. They say things like, "I can't afford this," "Money is hard to make," "I'll never be rich," and "I don't know how to get ahead." These statements may seem harmless, but they are powerful declarations to the subconscious mind. Every time such thoughts are entertained, they reinforce a state of financial struggle. The subconscious, being entirely obedient, ensures that their reality continues to reflect those beliefs. Consider what happens when you reverse this process. Instead of focusing on lack, you shift your attention to abundance. You begin to tell yourself a new story, one where money flows easily, where you always have more than enough, and where opportunities for financial growth present themselves effortlessly. You dwell in the feeling of already being wealthy. You walk, speak, and think like someone who knows they are financially free. This is not about pretending or deceiving yourself. It is about aligning your internal state with the wealth you seek. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It only responds to the dominant impressions you give it. If you repeatedly impress upon it the idea that you are already rich, it will rearrange your reality to make that belief true. The right circumstances, people, and opportunities will be drawn to you in ways you never could have planned. Inspired ideas will arise, guiding you to actions that lead to financial success. This is the effortless path to wealth, not one of force, but of alignment. It is important to understand that money itself is neutral. It does not have an inherent nature of being scarce or abundant. It simply responds to the energy and beliefs you hold about it. If you see money as difficult to obtain, it will be difficult. If you see it as something that flows naturally and abundantly, it will. Your internal world defines your financial experience. The key to transforming your reality is to stop focusing on how wealth will come and instead trust that it must come. When you plant a seed in the ground, you do not constantly dig it up to see if it is growing. You trust the process. In the same way, when you impress wealth upon your subconscious, you must let go of doubt and allow it to unfold in its perfect time. The moment you fully accept and believe in your wealth, you shift into the state of having, and your outer world begins to conform to this new inner reality. It is also essential to guard your thoughts and words. Never speak of lack, never affirm struggle, and never entertain the idea that wealth is out of reach. Instead, saturate your mind with thoughts of prosperity. Visualize yourself in complete financial freedom. Feel the security, the confidence, and the ease of knowing that your needs are always met. Make this feeling your dwelling place. Your financial transformation does not begin with more work, better opportunities, or lucky breaks. It begins within you. If you hold fast to the belief that you are already rich, without contradiction or doubt, then wealth will become your reality. The outer world has no choice but to reflect what you have impressed upon your subconscious mind. Make the decision to feel rich. Not tomorrow, not when circumstances improve, but now. Step into that feeling fully and completely. As you do, life will shift in ways that seem almost magical, but it is not magic, it is law. And once you understand this law, you will never struggle for wealth again. The greatest barrier between you and the wealth you desire is not the lack of opportunity, intelligence, or resources. It is the attachment to how and when it will come. Most people, in their pursuit of financial success, become obsessed with the details. They try to control every aspect of the process, calculating every possible path, fearing missed opportunities, and constantly questioning whether they are on the right track. This mindset, rather than bringing wealth closer, actually pushes it away. The more you concern yourself with how money will come, the more you reinforce the belief that you do not yet have it. The more you stress about when it will arrive, the more you affirm its absence. You must detach from how and when and shift into a state of absolute certainty that it is already yours. This is not wishful thinking. It is not pretending. It is a deep, unwavering inner knowing that the wealth you seek is already present in your life, even if you cannot yet see it with your physical eyes. When you adopt this mindset, you remove the obstacles that have been blocking it from manifesting. The mind that dwells in lack is restless. It constantly seeks solutions, worries about what is missing, and analyzes every step. But a mind that knows wealth is already secured is at peace. It does not chase, it does not struggle, and it does not doubt. Instead, it allows. And this allowing is the secret to effortless creation. Think of the air you breathe. You do not question whether there will be enough oxygen tomorrow. You do not wake up in the middle of the night in panic, wondering how air will continue to flow into your lungs. You simply trust that it is there. In the same way, money should be seen as something that is always available, always flowing, and never lacking. The moment you shift into this perspective, your reality will begin to reflect it. Letting go of how does not mean you stop taking action. It means that your actions are no longer driven by fear and desperation, but by inspiration and ease. When you believe that you already have what you seek, you are no longer forcing outcomes, you are aligning with them. The right ideas, people, and circumstances naturally find you because you are operating from a state of abundance rather than scarcity. Many people, when trying to attract wealth, unknowingly work against themselves by checking for results too soon. They plant the seed of wealth in their minds but constantly dig it up to see if it is growing. This impatience disrupts the process. Imagine a farmer who plants a crop but refuses to trust the natural cycle of growth. If he doubts the soil, uproots the seed every few days, and worries whether the harvest will come, he is only delaying his own abundance. The same is true for wealth. Once you have impressed the feeling of financial security upon your subconscious, you must let go and trust that it is unfolding perfectly. Time itself is an illusion. The belief that wealth must take years to accumulate or that success must come through a slow, difficult process is only a limitation imposed by the mind. In reality, wealth does not operate on a fixed timeline. It responds to your state of being. If you believe that abundance takes a long time, it will. The key is to detach from the concept of when and instead rest in the conviction that it is already done. To truly embody this, you must release all struggle, all anxiety, and all doubt. Every moment spent worrying about money is a moment spent affirming its absence. Every moment spent questioning how it will come is a moment spent reinforcing the idea that it is not yet here. Instead, shift into the certainty that you are already financially free. Feel it now. Walk as though it is true. Speak as though it is true. Think and act as the wealthy person you already are. Detachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you trust so deeply that you no longer need to force or control anything. You surrender to the natural flow of abundance, knowing that what is yours can never be withheld from you. When you reach this state, wealth manifests effortlessly, in ways you never could have planned. Unexpected opportunities arise. Money flows from sources you never anticipated. Everything aligns because you are no longer resisting. In this moment, let go of every question, every worry, and every doubt. Let go of the need to figure it all out. Instead, rest in the certainty that it is already done. Wealth is not something you are chasing. It is something you are allowing. And as soon as you fully embrace that truth, it will appear in your life as naturally as the breath in your lungs. If you desire to be a millionaire, you must first learn to think and speak as one. Your words and thoughts are not just fleeting expressions, they are the seeds from which your reality grows. Every thought you allow, every word you speak either affirms abundance or reinforces lack. There is no neutrality. The way you describe your life, the way you think about money, and the way you react to financial situations all determine the reality you experience. Most people unknowingly keep themselves trapped in financial struggle by constantly affirming their limitations. They say, "I can't afford this. Money is hard to come by. I don't know how I'll ever get rich." And in doing so, they instruct their subconscious mind to keep them in that very condition. They reinforce the idea that wealth is distant, difficult, or reserved for others. But those who truly embody wealth think and speak differently. They do not affirm lack, they affirm abundance. They do not focus on what is missing, they focus on what is already present. To shift into this mindset, you must begin eliminating all language of scarcity. Remove words like broke, struggling, impossible, or out of reach from your vocabulary. Stop saying things like, "I never have enough money," or "I'll never be able to afford that." These statements are not harmless. They are declarations to your subconscious mind, and your subconscious is always listening. Whatever you consistently affirm, it will accept as truth and manifest accordingly. Train yourself to speak from the perspective of wealth. Say, "Money flows to me effortlessly. I always have more than enough. Opportunities are abundant, and I am financially free." Even if your physical reality does not yet reflect this, your words are planting the seeds for the future. Wealth is first created in the mind before it materializes in the world. When you consistently affirm abundance, your subconscious mind begins to believe it, and when it believes it, it must bring it into your experience. Thinking as a millionaire goes beyond just words. It extends to your entire mental outlook. A wealthy person does not dwell on financial fear or worry. They do not obsess over lack. Instead, they trust in the natural flow of money. They see money as a tool, not as something to be feared or worshipped. They focus on prosperity, growth, and opportunity. They operate from a mindset of confidence rather than scarcity. Many people mistakenly believe that they must wait for financial success before they can feel abundant, but the truth is the opposite. You must first feel wealthy before wealth will come. Imagine how a millionaire thinks about money. Do they panic over small expenses? Do they stress over bills? Do they doubt their ability to generate income? No. They move through life with a sense of certainty, knowing that wealth is always available to them. They trust in their financial security. If you adopt this same mindset now, you will naturally align yourself with the experience of wealth. Your actions must also reflect this consciousness. Walk with confidence, as if you already possess great wealth. Sit, stand, and move as someone who is financially free. The way you carry yourself is a direct expression of your inner state. If you walk with hesitation, slouching under the weight of financial stress, you are embodying lack. But when you move with assurance, standing tall as if abundance is your natural state, you signal to your subconscious that wealth is already yours. Even your relationship with spending must change. Many people approach money from a place of fear, holding onto it tightly, afraid that there will never be enough. But a millionaire understands that money is a tool meant to flow. They do not hoard it out of fear, they circulate it wisely, knowing that there is always more where it came from. When you spend money, do so with gratitude, not anxiety. Bless every dollar that leaves your hands, knowing it will return multiplied. It is also crucial to surround yourself with the energy of abundance. This does not mean reckless spending or living beyond your means. It means immersing yourself in the feeling of wealth in every way possible. Visit beautiful places, try on luxury clothing, walk through high-end neighborhoods, not because you are pretending, but because you are aligning with the frequency of financial success. Your subconscious does not know the difference between what is real and what is vividly imagined. So if you continuously expose yourself to an environment of abundance, your mind will accept it as your reality. Eliminate negative influences that reinforce a scarcity mindset. Avoid conversations that focus on struggle and lack. Distance yourself from those who constantly complain about money, who believe wealth is reserved for the lucky few. Surround yourself with those who think expansively, who see opportunity everywhere, who operate with confidence in their financial destiny. Energy is contagious, and when you are constantly immersed in an environment of abundance, it becomes your new normal. Wealth is not something you chase, it is something you become. And you become it through your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Speak and think only as a millionaire would, and soon your outer reality will be forced to conform. It is not magic, it is law. The consciousness of abundance must always precede the experience of it. Think it, speak it, embody it, and the world will reflect it back to you. Gratitude is the key that unlocks the doors of abundance. It is not merely an emotion. It is a powerful vibrational force that aligns you with the reality you wish to experience. The secret to manifesting wealth is not to wait until it arrives before you feel grateful, but to express deep appreciation now, as if it were already yours. The moment you begin to live in this state of gratitude, you shift your energy from lack to abundance, and the universe must respond in kind. Most people live in a cycle of wanting, waiting, and worrying. They believe that once they achieve financial success, then they will be grateful. But this is an illusion. Gratitude is not a reaction to wealth, it is the cause of it. When you cultivate gratitude in the present moment, regardless of what your external reality looks like, you declare to the universe that you already have all you need. And when you affirm that you already have, more will be given to you. Imagine for a moment that you are already a millionaire. How would you feel waking up every morning, knowing that financial freedom is yours? How would you move through the day, knowing that money flows effortlessly into your life? You would feel a deep sense of ease, security, and appreciation. You would not worry about bills, expenses, or unexpected financial challenges because you would trust that everything is always working in your favor. Bring that feeling into the present. Do not wait for the physical evidence of wealth to appear before you allow yourself to feel grateful. Instead, cultivate that same deep appreciation. Now, look at what you already have, no matter how small, and acknowledge it with gratitude. Appreciate the money you do have, the opportunities before you, the roof over your head, the food you eat, the resources available to you. When you begin to see your current blessings as abundant, you send a clear message to the universe. I am already wealthy. And because like attracts like, wealth must flow to you. Gratitude is a magnet. Whatever you are grateful for, you attract more of. If you constantly complain about your financial situation, if you focus on what you lack, if you feel frustrated by what you do not yet have, you are reinforcing that very state. The universe responds to your dominant emotional state, not just your words. You may say that you want wealth, but if your emotions are rooted in frustration and lack, that is what will continue to manifest. Shift your focus. Instead of dwelling on what is missing, celebrate what is present. Each time you receive money, no matter how small, give thanks. When you spend money, instead of feeling anxious or resistant, feel grateful that you have the ability to pay for what you need. When you see someone else enjoying wealth, instead of feeling envious, celebrate their abundance as proof that prosperity is possible. The more you practice gratitude, the more you will notice your financial reality shifting. Unexpected opportunities will arise. Money will come from sources you never anticipated. Solutions to financial challenges will present themselves effortlessly. This is not coincidence. It is the natural result of aligning yourself with the frequency of abundance. A powerful way to deepen your gratitude practice is through visualization. Each day, close your eyes and imagine yourself already living your ideal financial life. See yourself in a beautiful home, driving the car of your dreams, traveling freely, giving generously. As you visualize, do not just see the images, feel them. Feel the excitement, the security, the deep appreciation of a life where money is no longer a concern. The more vividly you can feel gratitude for this reality now, the faster it will materialize. Writing down your gratitude can also be transformative. Keep a journal and each day list the things you are thankful for, both what you already have and what you are calling into existence. Write statements like, "I am so grateful for the unlimited abundance flowing into my life. I appreciate the wealth I already possess and the financial freedom that is unfolding effortlessly. Money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways, and I am thankful for every blessing." By consistently affirming gratitude, you reprogram your subconscious mind to accept abundance as your natural state. Over time, this new belief will override any past conditioning of scarcity, and your external world will adjust accordingly. It is also important to express gratitude not just for money, but for all forms of abundance. Good health, supportive relationships, creative ideas, and joyful experiences. The more you recognize abundance in all areas of your life, the more you train yourself to see wealth everywhere. And as your perception shifts, so does your reality. Gratitude is not just about attracting wealth. It is about becoming a person who naturally embodies abundance. It transforms your entire being, making wealth not something you chase, but something you radiate. When you live in a state of deep appreciation, you become magnetic to all that you desire. Money, opportunities, success, all of it flows effortlessly into the life of one who is truly grateful. Wealth is not something you chase, it is something you embody. The key to becoming a millionaire is not found in struggle or desperation, but in the deep, unwavering belief that you already are one. When you assume the feeling of wealth now, when you dwell in the certainty that it is already yours, and when you trust that your inner world shapes your outer reality, you unlock the doors to unlimited abundance. Let go of doubt. Detach from the need to control the how and when. Speak, think, and act only as a wealthy person would. Express gratitude not as a reaction to wealth, but as a declaration that it is already present. When you align your mind with abundance, the universe has no choice but to mirror that reality back to you. The life of financial freedom you seek is not distant, it is here, right now, waiting for you to claim it. Shift your awareness, walk in confidence, and allow wealth to flow to you effortlessly. Thank you, and may you step boldly into the wealth that is already yours. You are not here to chase. You are not here to plead. You are here to embody the energy that draws him in effortlessly. There is a secret that only a few truly understand. What you assume about him will shape how he responds to you. If you see yourself as the prize, he will too. If you believe you are cherished, adored, and irreplaceable, then in his mind you become a necessity, not an option. When you speak to him, speak as though his heart is already yours. Not with desperation, not with hope, but with the quiet confidence of a woman who knows. Say things that make him feel seen, understood. Things that make him feel like a king in your presence. But do not mistake admiration for surrender. A man becomes addicted not to a woman who gives everything, but to the woman who leaves space for his desire to grow. Every word you speak carries energy. Speak with warmth, but never overgive. Let your words be a reflection of your unshakable self-worth. Tell him, "You always make me feel safe," and watch how he rises to the occasion. Say, "I love the way you think," and see how he begins to share his mind with you, craving your validation. Do not beg for love. Do not over-explain yourself. Simply rest in the knowing that he is already drawn to you, already thinking about you, already feeling the magnetic pull of your presence. And if you do this, not from a place of need, but from the certainty that you are already the woman he cannot resist, then watch as he finds himself unable to look away. The way you see him, the way you speak to him, the way you hold him in your mind, this is the way he will respond to you. It has always been this way, though many fail to realize it. You believe a man's actions are independent of your own thoughts, that his affections are something to win, something to chase, something to be earned. But this is an illusion. You are not separate from him. You are the cause, he is the reflection. His devotion to you is not something you must struggle to obtain. It is something that arises naturally when you assume it to be so. Assumption is not mere wishful thinking. It is not pretending or playing a role. It is the conscious decision to accept as fact that which you desire. It is the unwavering belief that he already adores you, already longs for you, already feels the pull of your presence in his life. When you assume a man is indifferent, you will see proof of it everywhere. His delayed text, his distracted gaze, the way he seems to drift away instead of leaning in. But when you shift your assumption, when you decide that you are the woman he cannot resist, the center of his thoughts, the presence he craves, everything begins to change. You do not have to force it. You do not have to manipulate or strategize. You simply have to become the version of yourself who is already loved, already cherished, already deeply wanted. A man does not become addicted to a woman who needs his attention. He becomes addicted to the woman who assumes his attention is already hers. Not through arrogance, not through force, but through quiet, unshakable certainty. It is not about playing games. It is not about withholding affection or pretending to be something you are not. It is about knowing deep in your core that you are the woman he cannot bear to lose. If you believe that he is unsure about you, that he does not truly see your worth, then every action you take will reflect that belief. You will over-explain yourself, overcompensate, and unknowingly place yourself in the position of seeking his approval. But what happens when you reverse this? What happens when you assume that he already sees you as irreplaceable, that he already feels the weight of your absence when you are not around, that he already recognizes the unique presence you bring into his life? When you carry this assumption, everything shifts. The way you speak to him changes, not with desperation, not with the energy of someone hoping to be chosen, but with the confidence of a woman who knows she already is. You stop analyzing his every move because you no longer need to. You stop seeking reassurance because you are already assured. And the moment you stop seeking, the moment you stop chasing, is the moment he begins to feel an undeniable pull toward you. It is not your beauty alone that captivates a man. It is not your kindness, not your words, not even your actions. It is the energy behind them. It is the way you see yourself, and by extension, the way you assume he sees you. When you assume he adores you, you speak to him differently. Your voice carries certainty, warmth, and ease. You do not fear silence because you know he will return. You do not question his affections because you assume they are already there. This is the secret to deep connection. It is not found in effort, but in belief. It is not in trying harder, but in assuming it is already done. A man becomes addicted to the woman who believes without question that she is the one, not the woman who hopes, not the woman who waits for proof, but the woman who simply knows. When you hold this assumption, when you carry yourself as though his love is already secured, the world rearranges itself to reflect your belief. His actions shift, his words align, and suddenly what once seemed uncertain becomes inevitable. This is not magic, this is not manipulation, this is simply the way creation works. You are not here to wonder if he loves you, you are here to decide that he does. Do not ask, do not plead, do not wonder if he feels the way you desire. Speak as if it is already true. The moment you step into certainty, the moment you claim what is already yours, the world will rearrange itself to reflect your assumption. A man does not fall in love through logic alone. He is not drawn in by effort, nor does he crave what is desperately seeking him. He responds to energy, to confidence, to the quiet knowing of a woman who does not ask but expects. This is not arrogance, it is assurance. It is the understanding that you do not need to prove your worth to him, because in your reality, he already knows it. Your words are powerful, but not just because of what they mean. It is the energy behind them, the certainty they carry, that shapes how he responds to you. When you ask, "Do you love me?" you reveal doubt. When you say, "I know you adore me," you declare a truth that his subconscious will seek to align with. A man does not become addicted to a woman who questions her place in his life. He becomes addicted to the woman who speaks with the unwavering confidence of someone who knows she is already chosen. The way you speak should not imply desire, it should imply fulfillment. Instead of saying, "I wish you would prioritize me," say, "I love how you always make me feel like a priority." Instead of asking, "Do you miss me?" say, "I know you can't stop thinking about me." These words are not about manipulation, they are about assumption. The way you frame your words shapes the way he sees you. If you express doubt, he will begin to question as well. But if you speak as if his love is unquestionable, as if his devotion is a given, he will feel it on a level deeper than thought. He will not know why, but he will begin to act in ways that align with your certainty. He is captivated by you not because you ask him to be, but because you assume that he already is. You do not ask, "Do you like me?" You say, "I love how much you enjoy being around me." You do not ask, "Will you call me later?" You say, "I know you can't wait to hear my voice again." Every word you speak affirms the reality you have chosen, and reality, in turn, will shape itself to match your assumption. This does not mean you must speak these words aloud to him at all times. More powerful than what you say to him is what you say to yourself. In your mind, what is the story you are telling? Are you hoping he chooses you, or are you already chosen? Are you wondering if he will love you, or are you certain that he already does? Your internal dialogue creates the external experience. A man will respond to you based on how you assume he feels. If in your mind he is distant, he will be. If in your mind he is devoted, he will act accordingly. This is not manipulation, it is creation. It is the understanding that reality is simply a mirror reflecting the beliefs you hold as true. You do not need to convince him, you only need to decide. Decide that he already desires you, already cherishes you, already feels drawn to you in ways he cannot explain, and then speak, act, and move through the world as the woman who knows this to be true. When you do this, you will no longer wonder if he feels the way you desire. You will simply watch as he begins to show you that he always has. A man does not become addicted to a woman, he becomes addicted to the way she makes him feel. It is not just her beauty, her charm, or even her presence. It is the emotions she awakens within him. The words you speak to him, the way you make him feel when he is around you, are what keep you lingering in his mind long after you have left the room. Words are not just sounds, they are energy. They hold the power to inspire, to comfort, to draw someone closer without them even realizing why. The way you speak to a man shapes the emotional bond he feels with you. If your words evoke admiration, warmth, and belonging, he will associate those emotions with you. He will seek them. He will crave them. Every time you speak to him, you are planting seeds in his mind. Some women plant doubt, insecurity, and frustration without realizing it. They speak from fear, fear of losing him, fear of not being enough, fear of not being chosen, and so they question, they demand, they seek constant reassurance. But in doing so, they push him further away. A man does not become addicted to uncertainty. He becomes addicted to a woman who makes him feel safe, admired, and deeply desired. When you speak, let your words wrap around him like a warm embrace. Let them remind him of his strength, his potential, his worth. Tell him, I love the way your mind works. I admire the way you handle challenges. You make me feel so protected and at ease. These are not just compliments. They are affirmations of his identity. They make him feel like the man he wants to be, strong, capable, irreplaceable. And when a man feels like the best version of himself around you, he will not want to let you go. But admiration alone is not enough. A man does not just want to be respected, he wants to be wanted. He wants to feel the pull of your desire, the weight of your longing. This is why the way you speak to him should not be neutral, it should be felt. Instead of a simple, I miss you, say, I can't stop thinking about the way you look at me. Instead of, I like spending time with you, say, I love how I feel when I'm with you. Do you see the difference? One is factual, the other is emotional. One states a condition, the other creates an experience. A man may forget what you say, but he will never forget how your words make him feel. Do not be afraid to express longing, but do it from a place of certainty, not lack. Speak in a way that assumes he is already drawn to you, already captivated by your presence. Instead of asking, do you miss me, say, I know you can't wait to see me again. Instead of wondering if he desires you, say, I love the way you look at me. These words do not just describe reality, they create it. They place him in the experience of missing you, of wanting you, of needing to be near you. There is another layer to this. A man does not just crave passion, he craves peace. In a world that constantly demands his energy, he will always return to the place that makes him feel at ease. Your words should not just excite him, they should soothe him. Let him know, I feel so calm when I'm with you, or I love the way you make everything feel effortless. These words tell him that you are not another demand in his life, you are his refuge, and a man will always return to the place where he feels most at home. Speak with warmth, with admiration, with certainty. Let your words be a soft place for him to land, a reminder of his power, and a reflection of the passion you share. When you do, he will not just think of you, he will feel you, long for you, and crave the emotions that only you can awaken in him. Every word you speak carries an energy that is far more powerful than the words themselves. It is not just what you say, but the feeling behind it that shapes how others respond to you. When you speak with certainty, with unwavering confidence, the subconscious mind of the person listening absorbs that energy and reflects it back to you. But when you speak with insecurity, hesitation, or desperation, that energy is also absorbed, and it repels rather than attracts. A man does not fall in love with words alone. He falls in love with the feeling those words create. You could say all the right things, but if they come from a place of neediness or doubt, they will not land the way you want them to. The subconscious mind registers confidence, not desperation. It responds to what is assumed, not what is begged for. This is why you must speak as if what you desire is already yours. When you ask, do you love me, you communicate uncertainty. You are seeking reassurance, which implies that you are unsure of your place in his life. But when you say, I love how you always show me how much you care, You are making a statement, not asking a question. You are affirming a reality, and in doing so, you subtly guide his subconscious to align with that truth. He will begin to embody what you assume. A confident woman does not seek validation, she assumes it. She does not wait for a man to confirm his feelings before she feels secure. Instead, she speaks and acts from a place of already knowing. And because she knows, the world around her shifts to reflect her belief. A man feels her certainty and he responds to it. Not because she is forcing him to, but because confidence is magnetic. Desperation, on the other hand, has the opposite effect. It creates pressure, and pressure makes people pull away. When you over-explain, over-apologize, or overcompensate, it signals to the subconscious mind that something is off balance. Instead of drawing him closer, it makes him feel the weight of your need for reassurance, and that weight can become suffocating. Think about how energy feels when you are around someone who is uncertain and anxious. It creates tension, an uneasiness that makes you want to step back. Now, think about being around someone who is fully assured, calm, and self-possessed. There is a sense of ease in their presence, an unshakable energy that makes you trust them without question. This is the energy that captivates. So how do you embody this in your words? You remove doubt. You stop phrasing things as questions that seek validation, and instead you speak as if everything you desire is already unfolding. You replace "do you miss me" with "I know you're thinking about me." You stop saying "I hope we're okay" and instead affirm "we always find our way back to each other." This shift is subtle but powerful. It tells his subconscious that there is nothing missing, nothing to fix, nothing to chase. And when he does not feel pressured, he feels free to be drawn in by you naturally. More than anything, it is the energy behind your words that dictates the response you receive. You can say, "I know you love me," but if you say it with nervousness, as if you are trying to convince yourself, it will not hold power. But if you say it with absolute certainty, as if it is simply a fact, his subconscious will begin to align with it. This is not about controlling another person, it is about understanding the laws of assumption and energy. The way you speak creates the reality you experience. If you want to be adored, speak as someone who is already adored. If you want devotion, speak as if it is already present. When you do this, you will notice a shift not just in him but in yourself. You will feel lighter, more assured, and more at peace. And that peace, that confidence will become irresistible. Not because you are trying to make it so, but because when you know your worth, the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. A man will cherish the woman who makes him feel like the highest version of himself. He will crave the presence of the one who sees him not just as he is, but as he desires to be. But there is a fine line between making a man feel like a king and losing your own throne in the process. To truly captivate him, you must give warmth, admiration, and devotion, but always in a way that keeps him reaching for more. Many women believe that the way to a man's heart is through constant giving, giving attention, giving validation, giving all of themselves. But a man does not become addicted to a woman who gives everything too easily. He becomes addicted to the one who knows how to balance admiration with mystery, affection with independence, closeness with distance. She is the one he cannot fully figure out, the one whose energy is not desperate but magnetic. A king values what is rare, he treasures what he must earn. When you give too much without him having to work for it, he subconsciously begins to devalue it, not because he does not appreciate you, but because human nature does not cherish what is handed over without effort. But when you give in a way that is intentional, when your admiration is selective, when your presence is something to be earned, he will hold you in the highest regard. Speak to him in a way that uplifts him, but never in a way that makes you small. Instead of saying, "I'm nothing without you," say, "You bring out the best in me." Instead of "I would do anything for you," say, "I love the way we make each other better." These words communicate devotion, but they also communicate self-worth. They let him know that while you admire him, you also recognize your own value. Make him feel strong, make him feel capable, make him feel like the man he aspires to be. Tell him, I admire the way you handle challenges. I feel safe when I'm with you. You have such a powerful presence. These words create a reality for him. They allow him to step into the role of a king, to embody the strength and confidence you reflect back to him. But always remember, a queen does not kneel to make a king feel powerful. She stands beside him, and in doing so, she reminds him that she is his equal. This is why mystery is so essential. The moment a man feels like he completely understands you, the chase is over, the intrigue fades. A woman who is too predictable, too available, too easy to access, loses the very essence that makes her captivating. Keep a part of yourself just out of reach. Not in a way that is distant or cold, but in a way that keeps him curious. Let him feel your warmth, but never let him believe he fully possesses you. Do not tell him everything at once. Let your life have layers that he must uncover over time. Keep some thoughts to yourself, some dreams unspoken, some plans that do not revolve around him. Let him wonder what you are thinking, what you are doing, what excites you beyond him. A man does not want to be your entire world. He wants to be drawn into a world that already exists, a world that is full and vibrant, with or without him. When you balance admiration with self-respect, devotion with mystery, warmth with independence, you create an energy that is impossible to resist. He will not only feel like a king in your presence, but he will also recognize that you are a queen in your own right, and a man who values himself will never risk losing a woman who knows her worth. So give him a love that makes him feel strong, powerful, and deeply desired, but never lose yourself in the process. Keep him reaching, keep him intrigued, and he will never want to let you go. The words you speak to him matter, but the words you speak to yourself about him matter even more. Your inner dialogue is the silent force shaping your reality, the unseen energy that dictates how he responds to you. If, in your mind, he is already captivated by you, if you assume with unwavering certainty that he desires you deeply, he will unconsciously conform to that assumption. The mind is the creator of all things. It is not external effort or manipulation that draws a man closer, but the way you see him and the way you see yourself in relation to him. If you constantly worry, what if he loses interest? What if he doesn't love me as much as I love him? You are impressing those fears onto your reality. And because your assumptions shape your experiences, he will begin to reflect those very doubts back to you. But if instead your inner dialogue is one of absolute confidence, he is drawn to me effortlessly. He thinks about me constantly. He cannot imagine his life without me. Then that belief begins to take root not only in your mind, but in his subconscious as well. Without even realizing why, he will feel a pull toward you, a need to be near you, to seek your presence, to cherish you. A man does not simply fall for a woman because of what she says or does. He falls for the energy she holds within herself. If you see yourself as irreplaceable, if you assume that you are the prize, the gift, the one he has been searching for, then he will experience you in that way. But if you place him on a pedestal while doubting your own worth, the imbalance will be felt. And anything that feels unbalanced, anything that carries the energy of neediness or fear, will push him away rather than draw him closer. Your subconscious mind is always listening. It is absorbing every thought you entertain, every belief you hold about this man and about your connection with him. If you constantly think, I hope he texts me, you are living in the energy of lack, an energy that signals to the universe that something is missing. But if instead your inner dialogue affirms, of course he reaches out to me, he loves talking to me, he can't resist checking in, then that assumption sets the tone for your reality. The way he treats you is a reflection of your dominant thoughts. If you believe he is distant, he will show you distance. If you believe he is uninterested, his actions will mirror that belief. But if you assume he is captivated by you, that he finds you irresistible, that he loves and respects you, he will begin to align with that reality. This is not about forcing someone to act a certain way. It is about understanding that people naturally conform to the way you see them. When you hold a belief strongly enough, it influences your energy, your words, your presence. You do not need to say a word. The shift happens on a deeper level. Think about a time when you felt completely confident, when you walked into a room knowing your value. People responded to you differently, didn't they? They sensed your self-assurance, your ease, your magnetism. That same principle applies here. If you hold the assumption that you are deeply loved, that you are desired beyond measure, then the man in your life will begin to experience you that way. So take control of your inner dialogue. Speak to yourself in a way that aligns with the love you wish to receive. Stop entertaining thoughts of doubt or fear. Instead, replace them with powerful, unwavering affirmations. He is obsessed with me in the best way. He cherishes me and treats me like his greatest treasure. He is always thinking about me, drawn to me in ways he cannot explain. The more you impress these truths onto your subconscious, the more they will take root in your reality. You do not need to chase, beg, or struggle. You only need to assume, with absolute certainty, that what you desire is already yours. And as you do, you will watch as the world, and he, conforms to that assumption. In the end, everything comes back to the power of assumption, the energy behind your words, and the reality you create within yourself. A man does not become addicted to a woman because of desperate efforts or manipulation. He becomes addicted to the way she makes him feel, to the confidence she carries, to the mystery she holds, and to the belief she has in her own worth. When you speak as if it is already true, when your inner dialogue aligns with the reality you desire, he will unconsciously conform to that vision. Your energy, your certainty, and the way you see him will shape the way he responds to you. You do not need to chase, beg, or prove yourself. You only need to embody the belief that he is already yours. Balance admiration with self-respect. Give warmth, but keep him reaching. Make him feel like a king, but never lose your own throne. Hold within you the unwavering assumption that he cherishes you, desires you, and cannot imagine his life without you. And you will see this unfold in your reality. Thank you for allowing these words to reach you. May you step into your power and create the love you truly deserve. Sit in silence. Close your eyes. Feel the stillness around you. You do not need to beg, chase, or struggle. Wealth is already yours. Right now, in this moment, you are the one holding the winning ticket. It has been placed in your hands and the numbers match perfectly. Your breath quickens. Your heart races with excitement. You know what this means. You have stepped into a new life, effortlessly. You don't need to figure out how it happens. You do not need to move a muscle. You are simply receiving what is already yours. Listen within. Do you hear the sound of your own voice, celebrating? Do you feel the weight of the check in your hands? Do you sense the rush of emotions as you realize your entire world has changed? This moment is real. It is already unfolding in unseen ways. You are not creating it. You are aligning with it. You are not forcing it. You are accepting it. Close your eyes and allow yourself to step beyond the limits of what you have been taught. You do not need to wish for a thing, nor do you need to struggle or plead. Wishing implies separation. Hoping acknowledges doubt. Trying hard only reinforces the idea that what you desire is not yet yours. But assumption, pure, unwavering assumption, has the power to override all barriers. It is the bridge between where you stand and where you desire to be. Most people believe that effort is required to achieve anything in life. They have been conditioned to think that only through struggle and persistence can they attain what they seek. But this is not so. The world you see, The life you experience is simply a reflection of what you have accepted as true. You are not moving toward your desires. Your desires are drawn to you in accordance with your state of being. The moment you assume something is already done, the world has no choice but to arrange itself to reflect that assumption. Assumption is not merely thinking positively. It is not daydreaming or wishful thinking. It is a deep inner knowing that what you have imagined is not coming to you, it already is. Right now, in this moment, the version of you who has already received everything you desire exists. Your role is not to create, but to align. You do not need to force circumstances to change. You simply need to occupy the state of having. Take a moment and imagine yourself as the one who has won. What does it feel like to hold that winning ticket? To see the numbers match perfectly? To feel the weight of the check in your hands, knowing that your life has changed forever? Feel the excitement surge through your body. Hear the sound of your own voice as you celebrate, as you call those you love, as you breathe in this new reality. Do not analyze how it happened, just rest in the certainty that it has. Notice what happens within you. Perhaps a voice arises, whispering, "But how?" Or maybe a wave of doubt surfaces, reminding you of the odds, of the impossibility, of the logic that governs the world. This is where most fail, not because their desires are out of reach, but because they allow these doubts to override their assumption. The mind, conditioned by years of limitation, seeks evidence before belief. But the law is not belief follows evidence. The law is that evidence follows belief. You must remain steadfast. When you assume, you do not waver. You do not check your surroundings to see if things are shifting. You do not entertain thoughts of failure. You rest in the feeling of already having. Just as an actor steps into a role and embodies the character fully, you must embody the state of the one who has already received. The world will respond in kind. This is not theory, it is the fundamental law of creation. Every great success, every miracle, every transformation has come not through force but through assumption. The ones who win, who rise, who receive are those who have already seen themselves as such before the world acknowledged it. They are not surprised when wealth arrives, when opportunity appears, when doors open effortlessly. They expected it. I ask you now, can you dare to assume? Can you close your eyes and claim it as yours without needing any proof? Can you walk, speak, and think as though you already hold the winning ticket? For if you can, if you make this assumption real within, then the outer world must bow to it. It has no choice. Let go of logic, let go of resistance, enter the state of already having. Walk as the one who knows, not as the one who wishes. And when you do, the world will shift beneath your feet to match the reality you have claimed. For a moment and step beyond the limits of what you have been taught. Let the outside world fade away as you enter the realm of imagination, the only place where true creation begins. What you see, what you hold in your mind with absolute conviction is not a mere fantasy. It is the blueprint of what is to come. The world you experience is not separate from your inner world. It is simply a reflection of it. Everything that exists around you was once held in someone's imagination. The chair you sit on, the building you walk past, the technology you use, all were once intangible thoughts before they solidified into reality. The same principle applies to your own life. If you can imagine something vividly, if you can feel it as real within yourself, it must take shape in the world around you. Bring to mind a scene so real, so clear that it feels as though you are living it now. You are standing there looking down at your hands, and in them you hold a lottery ticket. But this is not just any ticket. This is the winning ticket. The numbers match perfectly. The realization dawns upon you in waves, first as a spark of disbelief, then as a rush of excitement that overtakes your entire being. Your breath catches. Your hands tremble slightly as you recheck the numbers again and again, knowing with absolute certainty that this is real. Feel the weight of that ticket in your hands. Feel the texture of the paper, the ink that marks the numbers that have changed your life forever. You can hear the sounds around you, perhaps the hum of distant voices, the rustling of papers, the faint buzz of the environment. But none of it matters, because in this moment you have stepped into a new reality. Let that feeling expand. Let it fill every part of you. The joy, the relief, the overwhelming gratitude that wells up inside you. You know what this means. The struggle is over, the limitations of the past are gone, you have received what was always meant for you. You can see yourself sharing the news with those closest to you, their faces lighting up with happiness, their voices filled with excitement and awe. Everything feels natural, as though it was always supposed to happen this way. Hold on to that feeling. This is not pretend, this is not a mere daydream, this is creation. You are not simply imagining for the sake of entertainment. You are constructing the very foundation of your future. But here is the secret. You must not contradict this vision with doubt. The moment you say, "But how will it happen?" you begin to unravel the very reality you have set in motion. The how is not your concern. Your only responsibility is to make the experience within you so real, so complete, that the outer world has no choice but to rearrange itself to reflect what you have seen. Understand this. Reality does not create imagination. Imagination creates reality. The events in your life, the circumstances you encounter, are nothing more than echoes of past thoughts and assumptions. If you wish to change what appears before you, you must first change what you hold within. Think of this as planting a seed. When you plant a seed in the soil, you do not dig it up every day to check if it is growing. You trust that it is taking root, that it is developing in the unseen before it becomes visible. Your imagination works the same way. The moment you have felt the reality of your desire, you have planted the seed. Now your job is to trust. Every time doubt arises, return to the scene. Live it again, breathe it in. Each time you do, you strengthen the roots of your creation, making it more and more inevitable. The mind does not know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. If you persist, it will accept your vision as truth. And when that happens, the world must follow. So do not wait for proof. Do not seek validation from the outside. Assume it, feel it, know it. And soon what was once only a vision in your mind will stand before you, solid and undeniable. The greatest obstacle between you and your desire is not the world outside, it is the doubt within. The moment you look at your circumstances and declare, "It's impossible," you have already accepted defeat. You have surrendered to appearances instead of recognizing your true power. But understand this. The world you see is not fixed. It is not the master of your fate. It is merely a reflection of what you hold within. If you allow doubt to take root, it will manifest in your experience. But if you can detach from doubt, if you can stand firm in the unseen, then what seems impossible must become reality. Doubt is the voice of the old self, the conditioned mind that has been trained to rely on logic and physical proof. It whispers, "Look at the odds. Look at your past failures. Look at the facts." It wants you to believe that circumstances dictate what is possible. But circumstances are nothing more than shadows cast by past beliefs. They are not permanent and they hold no true power. If you accept them as unchangeable, you will remain bound by them. But if you can rise above them, if you can ignore the logic of the world and trust in the unseen, then you will move beyond limitation. To detach from doubt, you must first recognize its nature. Doubt is nothing but fear disguised as reason. It tries to keep you safe, to keep you from disappointment, but in doing so, it also keeps you from transformation. It is a chain that binds you to your current state, making you believe that only what is reasonable is possible. But reason is limited. It is based on what has already happened, not on what can happen. And if you live only by reason, you will forever be trapped in repetition, experiencing the same circumstances over and over again. I ask you to do something radical. Ignore the facts. Ignore the numbers, the statistics, the opinions of others. They are irrelevant. Instead, go inward. Create within yourself the certainty that what you desire is already yours. Feel the reality of it so deeply that there is no room for doubt. Because once you know something to be true within, the world has no choice but to follow. Imagine a sculptor standing before a block of stone. If he were to look at the stone and say, "This is just a rock, there is no statue here, it is impossible to change it," he would never begin. But the sculptor does not see only the stone, he sees what is hidden within it. He knows that the statue already exists inside. He simply has to remove what does not belong. Your desires are the same. The reality you seek is already present in the unseen. You only need to remove doubt and limitation to reveal it. Consider the wind. You cannot see it, but you can feel its presence. You do not question whether it exists simply because it is invisible. The unseen forces of life are just as real, just as powerful. Your belief, your assumption, your conviction, these are the unseen forces that shape the world around you. If you place more trust in what you cannot see than in what you can, you will witness miracles. But you must be steadfast. The moment you entertain doubt, you undo your work. The moment you check the outside world for proof, you slip back into the mindset of disbelief. A farmer does not dig up his seeds every day to see if they are growing. He plants them, waters them, and trusts in the process. You must do the same. Once you have assumed the reality of your desire, let it be. Do not question it. Do not wonder how it will happen. Simply know that it is done. There will be moments when logic tempts you to abandon your belief. It will urge you to be realistic. It will point to your current circumstances and say, "See, nothing has changed." But logic is not the highest power. The unseen shapes the seen, not the other way around. What appears real today is only the result of past thinking. If you persist, if you hold firm in your assumption, reality will conform to your vision. You are the creator of your experience. You are not at the mercy of chance. Nor are you limited by what seems probable. Probability is only a measure of what has happened before, not what must happen next. The moment you detach from doubt and assume the feeling of already having, the forces of the unseen begin to move. Doors open where none existed, paths appear where there were once only walls. What once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. So, stand firm. Refuse to be shaken by circumstances. Ignore the logic of the world and trust in the unseen. If you do, you will come to understand a truth that few dare to accept. Nothing is impossible, except the limits you place upon yourself. And step into the reality where your desire is already fulfilled. Feel the moment as if it is happening now. The excitement courses through you. Your hands are shaking as you hold the winning ticket. The realization dawns upon you like the rising sun. It's done. There is no need to hope, no need to wish, no need to wonder. You already have it. The relief washes over you and a deep sense of gratitude fills your entire being. This is the feeling you must hold, but only for a moment. Once you have fully embraced it, once you have felt it so vividly that it becomes real to you, then you must let it go. You do not need to force anything into existence. You do not need to beg, struggle, or chase. The moment you have felt the reality of your desire within, the work is done. Your subconscious mind has already accepted it as truth. And the unseen forces of creation are now in motion. Think of it like planting a seed. When you place a seed into the soil, you do not stand over it demanding that it grow. You do not dig it up every day to check if it is sprouting. You trust that beneath the surface something is happening. You know that if you leave it alone, water it with faith, and allow nature to take its course, the seed will grow into a mighty tree. Your desires work the same way. Once you have planted them in the soil of your imagination, once you have truly felt them as real, you must release them and trust that they are unfolding in perfect order. Many people struggle because they do not let go. They feel the excitement for a moment, but then they return to doubt, questioning, and overthinking. They constantly check their circumstances, looking for proof, and in doing so, they disrupt the process. They dig up the seed before it has a chance to take root. This is why so many fail. They do not trust. They try to force things to happen instead of allowing them to unfold naturally. But creation does not happen through force. It happens through surrender. The most powerful way to manifest anything is to feel it completely and then release it with full confidence that it is already done. The moment you let go is the moment the universe takes over. The subconscious mind, which holds the true power of creation, will now begin to rearrange circumstances, people, and events to bring your desire into form. It does not need your interference. It only needs your faith. Imagine you have ordered something online. The moment you place the order, you do not keep refreshing the page, doubting whether it will arrive. You know it is on its way. You trust the process. You go about your day fully assured that what you requested is coming. This is the attitude you must adopt with your desires. Once you have felt them real, once you have placed the order in your subconscious, you must trust that they are being delivered to you in the perfect way, at the perfect time. Letting go does not mean you forget about your desire. It does not mean you stop wanting it. It means you no longer worry about how it will happen. You do not chase, you do not force, you do not beg. You simply allow. You rest in the certainty that it is already yours. This is why so many people fail to manifest. They cling too tightly. They think about their desire with desperation, constantly wondering when it will come. But desperation is the opposite of faith. When you feel desperate, you are affirming that you do not have what you want. And what you affirm within, you create in your outer world. Instead, you must feel the joy, the satisfaction, and the relief of already having. And then you must move on with your life, knowing that it is unfolding perfectly. Look at the world around you. Everything you see was once unseen. Every great invention, every masterpiece, every moment of joy someone has ever experienced began first in the unseen world of imagination. The moment it was accepted as real within, it was set in motion. The same is true for your desires. They are already moving toward you. But you must not block them with fear, doubt, or impatience. What must you do now? Nothing. Simply know. Know that it is done. Feel it deeply, embrace it fully, and then walk away with confidence. Go about your day with the quiet assurance that the forces beyond your understanding are working on your behalf. The seed has been planted, the process is in motion. When the time is right, what you have felt will appear before you, just as surely as the sun rises each morning. You do not need to push. You do not need to chase. You only need to feel, believe, and let go. And when you do, you will see with your own eyes that reality bends to the one who trusts in the unseen. Imagine yourself as the person who has already won. Not someone who is waiting, not someone who is hoping, but someone who knows, without a shadow of a doubt, that they are already in possession of their fortune. Feel the weight of that certainty within you. See yourself holding the winning ticket, looking at the numbers that match perfectly, knowing this moment was inevitable. There is no hesitation, no second guessing. You are not asking, will it happen? You are standing in the moment where it already has. This is the key, living in the end. You do not dwell in a mindset of one day, someday, maybe. That is the language of those who do not yet believe. You step into the version of yourself who already has what they desire, and you do not step out. You embody the reality of your wish fulfilled, not as an occasional thought, but as your permanent state of being. Look at your life right now. What do you see? Do you see lack? Do you see waiting? Do you see uncertainty? If so, it is because you are living in a reality that is separate from your desire. You are still hoping instead of knowing. But what happens when you shift? What happens when you begin to walk through life as someone who already possesses what they seek? Your mind no longer searches for confirmation because it no longer needs it. You do not check your bank account every day, worrying if there is enough because you know you are wealthy. You do not wish for abundance. You carry yourself as someone who is abundant. You do not spend your days hoping for good fortune. You assume that fortune follows you wherever you go. You must think from the end, feel from the end, and act from the end. It is not enough to visualize once and then return to your old habits of thought. You must persist in the assumption that it is already done. Even when the outer world does not yet reflect it, even when circumstances appear unchanged, you do not waver. You remain steadfast in the reality you have chosen to embody. Consider an actor who steps into a role. When they perform, they are not pretending, they become the character. They adopt the thoughts, emotions, and behaviors of the role they are playing, and for that time they are that person. This is what you must do. You must step into the role of the person who already has what they seek. And the longer you stay in that state, the more your outer world will conform to match it. Doubt will try to creep in. The logical mind will argue that nothing has changed. The world will tell you to be realistic. But reality is not fixed. It is shaped by the assumptions you hold. If you continue to live in the old version of yourself, the one who is still waiting, still wondering, still hoping, you will remain stuck in that loop. But the moment you fully assume your new identity, the moment you truly feel the relief of already having, your world begins to shift. Imagine waking up tomorrow and knowing without a doubt that your fortune is already yours. How would you feel? Would you be anxious? Would you be desperate? No. You would move through your day with ease, with certainty, with a quiet confidence that does not seek validation because it already knows. You would not talk about your dreams as though they are distant. You would speak from the reality of them already being fulfilled. That is the secret. When you live in the end, you bypass the waiting. You step beyond time itself and claim what is already yours in the unseen. And once you claim it within, the outer world has no choice but to conform. So do not wait. Do not entertain thoughts of one day or maybe. Do not speak of your desires as something you hope will happen. Speak as though they already have. Feel as though they are already yours. Carry yourself as the person who no longer wonders but knows. Your reality will shape itself around you. The world does not dictate what you receive, you do. And when you assume the feeling of already having, when you truly live in the end, you will watch as what was once only a vision becomes the undeniable truth of your life. There is an immense power in silence. What you hold within, protected from the doubts and opinions of others, gains strength. The moment you begin to speak of your desires to those who do not understand, you risk diluting their energy. Every doubt, every skeptical glance, every question of how and when chips away at the certainty you are cultivating. And certainty, absolute knowing, is the force that brings your desires into reality. When you share your vision with those who cannot see what you see, they project their own limitations onto you. They ask, "Are you sure? How will that happen? What if it doesn't work?" These words may seem harmless, but they plant seeds of doubt in your mind. Even if you do not consciously accept them, they linger beneath the surface, weakening your faith. You do not need validation. You do not need permission. The only thing required is your unwavering belief in what you have chosen to manifest. And belief is strengthened in stillness. Think of a seed planted in the soil. It does not need to be pulled up every day to check if it is growing. It does not need to be explained to others in order to take root. It simply requires time, nourishment, and the right environment. Your desires work the same way. They need quiet. They need protection from the harsh winds of doubt and skepticism. The more you speak of them to others, the more you expose them to opinions that may shake your faith. The world does not need to know your plans. It does not need to understand what you are creating in the unseen. What you nurture in the silence of your own mind will grow into undeniable reality. There is no need to prove anything to anyone. When the time is right, the results will speak for themselves. Many people have learned this lesson the hard way. They excitedly share their desires with friends, family, or colleagues, only to be met with skepticism. That's unrealistic. That's impossible. Do you really think you can do that? Even when these words are said with good intentions, they create resistance. They make you second guess yourself. But when you remain silent, no one can interfere. No one can inject doubt into something they do not know exists. Your desire remains pure, untouched by the limitations of others. And in this protected state, it grows stronger, becoming more real with each passing day. There is another reason why silence is so powerful. When you speak too soon, you release energy that should be directed inward. Every time you talk about your desire before it has fully materialized, you dissipate some of its force. You scatter the energy that should be used to deepen your belief and strengthen your assumption. Have you ever noticed that the more people talk about something they intend to do, the less likely they are to actually do it? This is because talking gives them a false sense of accomplishment. They feel as though they have already taken action, and so the urgency to bring it into reality weakens. But when you keep your desire to yourself, it remains concentrated. The energy stays within, intensifying rather than dispersing. It is not secrecy out of fear, it is protection out of wisdom. You are not hiding because you doubt. You are remaining silent because you know. You do not need external validation. You do not need agreement from others. You walk with quiet confidence, knowing that what you have declared within must become true in the world around you. This is the way of those who understand the deeper laws of creation. They do not announce their intentions. They do not seek approval. They move in silence, shaping reality from within. And then, when their vision has fully materialized, they let the world see the results. By then, there is no need to explain, no need to justify. The proof is undeniable. You must learn to do the same. If you have a desire, hold it close. Let it grow in the stillness of your mind. Nurture it with belief. Strengthen it with conviction, and shield it from the doubts of those who cannot see what you see. The greatest things are created in silence. The most powerful manifestations happen without announcement, without external validation, without the need for others to believe. Because when you truly know, when you have assumed the feeling of already having, you do not need to convince anyone. Silence is power. It is the space where dreams take form. It is the protection that allows your desire to grow unhindered. It is the energy that ensures what you hold within becomes what you experience without. So do not speak of your desires before their time. Keep your vision sacred. Guard it fiercely. Let the world see only the outcome, never the process. And when your reality shifts, when what you once imagined stands before you as undeniable truth, you will understand the power of silence. All that you seek is already within you. The moment you assume it, the moment you see it vividly in your imagination and let go of doubt, the unseen begins to shape the seen. You do not need to chase, struggle, or convince anyone. Reality bends to the one who dares to believe in their own inner power. Detach from doubt, feel the joy of having, and then release it with unwavering faith. Live in the end, knowing it is done, and move in silence, protecting your vision from those who do not understand. The universe does not respond to effort, it responds to certainty. When you know it is yours, the world will have no choice but to reflect it back to you. Trust in the process, remain still in your faith, and watch as your desire unfolds effortlessly before you. Thank you.